And number two, if the court decides on provisional measures, what then are the obligations of the various parties here, particularly here at the UN and Security Council members, and particularly perhaps the US? You know, what position would we have if President Biden, for example, decided for another veto, this time in defiance of the world's highest court, given he keeps talking about a rules-based international order?
Great, thanks James. So look, the crime of genocide is a very high threshold to prove, because you need to prove the intent to destroy a group in whole or in part. And that's actually why the ICJ case is so important. South Africa is essentially asking the court to determine if Israel's military operations in Gaza have resulted in violations of the 1948 Genocide Convention, and if they failed to prevent genocide. And the situation on the ground is so grave that it does merit the court's scrutiny. Human Rights Watch welcomes this case. We support that, and we think that other countries and other states, including the United States, should support and ensure that Israel complies with the court's decisions. Look, I think one of the things about compliance, South Africa and Israel are legally bound by what decisions the court takes. And the fact that Israel is actively participating in these proceedings is a sign that Israel itself is bound by the court's orders and judgments, and it believes in the legitimacy of the court. So any flouting of the court's decisions and the court's orders would leave a very dark stain on its reputation. And I think, yes, of course, if there is a decision that comes down from the International Court of Justice, the next step is that it would go to the UN Security Council, but there are many other steps that can be taken, and states and UN member states can exercise their support for the decisions of the court by using political statements, sanctions, and arms embargoes, just as an example.